stand for the prayer and pledge.
Father in heaven, bless us as we gather today for this meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so that we will work for the good of our community. Teach us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. Thy will be done. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call this Hancock County Commission to order. The 5th day of March, 2015. Item 1 on the agenda, citizens' presentations. Mike Paparocki, Executive Director, and Barb Zimnox, Community Development Specialist, Brooke Hancock, Jefferson Metropolitan Planning Commission, is here with us in the house today. And I think they would both or one would like to talk. Michael was going to speak to us.
He's going to yield to me, I guess.
Okay.
I guess that's what happens.
Michael, if you could come to the mic.
Oh, right here?
Yes, sir.
Before I do that, I want to just pass out a couple business cards, just so you know who I am. Thank you. Before you get to that. Just pass these out. I get them printed by the thousands, and I never use them. So just like any other good government worker, I have handouts. Very good. All right, thank you. First off, thank you for the opportunity to put me on the agenda and come out here and introduce myself to you. Mr. Burnaby, I think this is the first time I've ever met you. Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you also.
And I know Jeff and Mr. Schwartzmiller, we've had an occasion to do some business now and then, from the county on the transportation side. And I also want to thank you, gentlemen. We have 3 appointments. I think it's Mr. Vitus. There's another gentleman from Weirton that escapes my mind right now, as well as Marvin Six. So that's probably the first time in recent memory I can remember you having 3 appointments to BHJ. So I thank you very much for that. The first part that I have is our newsletter. Unfortunately, it's all about me. I was just recently appointed here in the 1st of February, I think it was. Days just seem to go by. Everybody keeps asking me, how's the new job? And it's pretty much the same as the old job, except just a little bit more. I get to sign the paychecks and sign the bills and so forth. It just goes through me with the leadership. I really don't like, discussing much about myself, but Linda insisted that that's what I do and that's where I'll go. On the 3rd page, something that Barb works with, is the Weirton Transit Corporation. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. The city of Weirton has allowed them to go through with a citywide levy to see if that's the way they can go to fund transportation. I think that's a big deal to go through it, because the city has struggled in the past years to come up with the local funds for it. If you go to the last couple pages, we do these quarterly, and Linda likes to do, some history. She's done every community that there is in the Brooke, Hancock, and Jefferson counties areas. Now she's going back in time a little bit. This was the old Stanton Park, which is up in the north end of Steubenville area. I think in the future she'll probably do something on Rock Springs Park, which was up in Chester. I think she was discussing something about that. I just want to say, I'm here, to help you. If there's anything you have of any concerns, I know I talked with you, Mike, about what we have here on State Route 2 and some of the concerns that Mayor McNeil has with in particular Station Hill and the turn that's down at the bottom of the street. We've been getting a lot more activity with trucks hauling up, in particular to the sites up in the Knoll area where they're doing some of the oil and gas processing up in there. that's why I just wanted to discuss a little bit with you on what's called Senate Bill 258. It's something that's been coming down the road here for the last few years. It's come out of Monongalia County. I first heard about this about 18 to 24 months ago from the MPO director in Morgantown. Bill Austin brought this to my attention, and now it's kind of getting its way through the Senate. It's been through the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, and it's been referred to the Finance Committee in the Senate. And the first several pages that you go through are basically your definitions, because these are new rules that are coming out from our state legislature in Charleston. I just wanted to refer you to page 13 of what this is all about, and it just talks about a creation of a county road construction plan. So in essence, what this does is it allows a county commission, or you can go together with other county governments, to levy a sales tax. I think right now they're talking about a 1 cent sales tax, and generate funds to go along with what federal or state dollars that the Division of Highways would have for transportation improvements. And what you need to do is, first part of the application is to come up with a transportation plan. And it can be from what you call a highway authority, a local county or a regional economic development authority, or it even can come up from a resident of the county. I just wanted to say that, we are a metropolitan planning organization. Our expertise is in transportation, plus we also do represent the Economic Development Authority through the EDA, through the Brooke and Hancock, Regional Council. So we're responsible for the what we call the CIDS, the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, which projects like this also come out of as well. Then I want you, if you would, you can jump ahead to page 19 on this, and it talks about the termination of the sales and use tax. Okay, once the project has been initiated, it's been approved through the Commissioner of Highways or the Director of Transportation, the sales tax would be used to retire your debt or your responsibility of the project, let's say. Okay, so it's just another funding tool that's in the toolbox. Once the bonds are retired, or your commitment is done from the project, the sales tax goes away. Okay, so that's one element of it as it is right now. I'm just going through a couple highlights here. It's an application process that you work with the Commissioner of Highways with this, and on page 33, it talks about what you can and cannot tax. So obviously there's certain services that you can't tax. You can't tax fuel, because that's what the state uses for their type of revenue. And on page 36, it talks a little bit more about that. Just bring it for your information, because when we do start talking much more seriously with the DOH about what we're looking at alternatives here to fix the road through here, to try to do something with Station Hill and eliminate some of those turns. I'm sure if this is something that's going to come through on the state legislature, it may not be this year, but it may very well be next year that they come up to an agreement with it. You most likely may be asked by the Commissioner to take a look at this. Okay? So, I just want you to be aware of this. And if you do have legislators, that you discuss this with, I know Mr. Schwartzmiller said he was a little bit, working some with the state legislatures this year, something that you might want to be aware of if you have questions about.
I don't know the status. Commissioner Davis, do you know of this bill? I don't think it's going to be this year. It hasn't passed either house yet, so it's sort of...
Most likely it won't. It's going through the subcommittees right now. It's out of what we call the Transportation and Infrastructure, and it's in the Senate. Finance Committee is where it is, and it'll probably just reside there for a while. So,
but thank you for that, because like I said, if this is the future, we need to be aware of.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be the future.
Yes,
that I'm aware of. Anything else?
Welcome aboard.
Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for your time and expertise today, and we really appreciate it.
Sure, and I look forward to working with you, Mr. Vitus, in the near future here. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Barb, he used up all the time. You're good?
He's always like that.
Under correspondence, Judy Reveau, Chief Executive Officer of Change Incorporated, requesting a letter of support to apply for the contract service grant to continue to provide transportation to the residents of Hancock County. If you've been following the news lately in the media, this is due for funding termination in, I think, at the end of in this quarter, at the end of March on this. So this would be a letter of support to continue that. Its value to our citizens. That's what the request is for, and it's in your packet, gentlemen.
You do? I move to approve the request from Change and send a letter of recommendation.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. New business, County Commission A, approval to enter into contractual agreement with the Division of Justice and Community Services to apply for a grant on behalf of the Victims of Crime Act VOCA program.
I move to approve the resolution.
All
Resolution.
right. Scared me for a second. Motion before us. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. County Commission 2, approval to advertise grass bid packages.
Move to approve.
Questions, concerns?
Yeah.
Mr. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
I was going to make a comment because this is the first time, that I've done, this was before me, I should say, and, I did realize that we do hire some summer help or do have a summer hire program, although budget is a little bit tight this year. But I also was informed that this is the cheapest and also the best way to get this service done and get it done right, as they have had in the past, tried to do it on their own, and it doesn't seem to work. So, just wanted to say that, because I like to try to employ people, but it's already been done and it didn't work. So,
Mr. Vitus, the sites that we're looking to advertise for, will they be advertised on our website?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The packages are almost identical to last year, except for the Crestview area.
Okay.
With the new construction that's going to be going on, we've taken out the Crestview Park and the area where the construction will be taking place.
Any further discussion? We have a motion in front of us to accept the package, the package, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. County Clerk requesting approval of a hearing on April the 16th, 2015 at 3 p.m. to prove a copy of a last will and testament in solemn form. Solemn form is simply just a copy.
There is a will, but they can't buy it.
It's a copy form. It's not the original. Okay. Right.
Move to approve the request.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. New business C, Dog Warden, approval of the February 2015 monthly report.
Move to approve.
Any debate? With none being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Office of Technology and Communications, item 1, requesting approval to accept the resignation of part-time dispatcher Nikki Winters and to advertise on the county website for 2 new part-time dispatchers.
Move to approve the request as presented.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Sheriff's Department. Item 1, requesting approval of new members of the Hancock County Sheriff's Reserve, Jessica Stewart, Randy Holloway, and Daniel Kalmbach.
So moved.
Did we pass this before, Sheriff? I mean, because I remember I said, last time I said this is Daniel, can I pronounce it?
No, it was not this particular one.
Oh, okay.
But we have, you have voted on other members in the past.
Okay. So
Recently, has.
Okay. Further discussion, question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Sheriff's Department 2, requesting approval to pay Elizabeth Fahey for accumulated vacation and personal time due to her retirement on February 28, 2015.
Move to approve the request as presented.
Discussion, debate? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Roman numeral 4, miscellaneous. Probates and estates approval.
They've been reviewed and they are recommended for approval as to form.
So moved to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Approval of exoneration orders.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. General county bills.
General County is $7,443.30. P card payment was $16,166.39.
Good. Dip
I
backwards.
thought
Okay.
Move to approve.
Motion to pay the bills in front of you. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Fire allocation, bills and requisitions? Okay.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Library levy?
They are okay as well?
Move to approve.
Discussion? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Sheltered workshop?
They are okay.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Ms. Karen, do you have anything for them? Counselor?
Nothing today.
Sheriff?
As most of you are aware, I put out a press release yesterday notifying the public that we lost a canine from our department. Canine Freddy. His handler is Deputy Pat Hoder. We're having a memorial service tomorrow at 10 in the courthouse. The Canine Freddy has served on the department 8 years and was 9 years old. His passing came as a surprise. We weren't quite ready to retire him yet, although he was coming close to the end of his working time. He was still working very hard for us. But unfortunately, he developed a cancerous tumor, and he couldn't be saved. So we had help from our vets in Wheeling that's been very helpful over the years for us. The department is mourning the loss of Freddie, and it's real. Thank you very much.
Part of the family. Huh?
Yes, very much part of the family. These dogs aren't. Some may look at them as tools, and they are. Some may look at them as officers, and they are. And the canine handlers look at them as part of their family, and they are structured that way. So it's a loss to the community because of the loss of the training we have, the money invested in the training for that dog, and the work that he was able to produce. And this dog was very productive. It was a good dog. So we're at a loss for that, but we're at a loss from a partner. So it's difficult on the handler. So thank you for your time.
Nothing. Assessor's office, extension office.
We're just trying to
Keep
get more
warm?
programs in. Yeah, keep warm. We did send a group of 4-Hers down to Team Leader Weekend at Jackson's Mill and also to Dance Weekend at Jackson's Mill. We have wonderful volunteers who always keep our kids' safety first and foremost. So they came back Saturday night instead of waiting until Sunday this year because of the weather. So they all arrived home safely at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we got them all home to their families and safe and sound before the weather hit. So kudos to our volunteers for keeping the safety of the kids first and foremost in mind.
Health department's here today.
Nothing today.
911.
I wanted to let you know that the resignation of our part-time Nikki Winters was because she got a full-time job. So she will be missed. She was a valuable asset to us. As well as we want to send out our condolences to Freddie. You know, he is a member of us as well. So we know that when Pat was out there with him, Pat had that extra help out there from Freddie, and he was an awesome dog. So he will be missed.
Nothing today.
Oh, I know this guy wants to talk. He needs to talk. Do something about the ice, John.
Okay. From our warm-up from a few days ago, we have several ice jams, Kings Creek and one on Harmon Creek that I'm aware of. A total of 5 or 6. Just so you know that's what we have going on for the ice. Now, it's going to be really cold for the next day or two, maybe a little bit longer, but the forecast for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is 20 in the evenings, 40 and 50 degrees, maybe 50 degrees on Wednesday, which would be our first day of 50-degree weather for about 50 days. So as long as you know that the thawing of the ice through Mother Nature taking care of it, I know that Mr. Vitus and I and my counterparts in the state, we talk about dealing with the ice jams, and there were a couple of three things we talked about. Dynamiting them was one of them. One of them was getting a boom operator with a machine to go out there and try to break them up. But Mother Nature won out again because you can't fool Mother Nature. And that's probably the best way that's the way we're going. We're not dynamiting the ice jams, and we're not going to have an operator out there in harm's way trying to break up the ice to get it to go through. So, we do need to talk about that, and we have talked about it. About 25 years ago, they used some dynamite to open up a creek further downstate to get the water to flow out into the Ohio River. And that's kind of where all this kind of came from, this story about dynamite and ice jams. That we're not doing that. The liabilities are too great, along with the other situation. So that's kind of the update. Our shelter is closed. We had opened the shelter yesterday down at Weird Community Center. And those folks are really great down there. We didn't have any customers, and that's good. But just so you know, a lot of other counties in West Virginia have a lot of problems. We knock on wood. We kind of avert them at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vitus, anything?
Nothing else today?
Mr. Foley?
Nothing.
Don't really have anything in business form, but we're serving 2 months here, and it's been a different change for me. Had a little bit of a awakening yesterday. We're in the middle of some budget work, and legislation has a lot to do with it, which is Mike's going to talk about. But as far as camaraderie within this courthouse, the public, and the people that work for us and the elected officials and that, I just want to give a big thank you to all the help that has been given to me over this time frame. And I'm trying to learn as fast as I can, and I think I'm on it. Get through this legislative session and the first budget, which hopefully by the end of the month we'll be in. That'll be a big step for me. So I do want to thank those, Sheriff Fletcher, and Mr. Longy, and department heads back there for being cordial and so helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis?
Can you see headlines tomorrow?
Yes.
Emergency Service Director Jonesy decides not to blow up the ice. Dynamite not being used. You never mentioned anything about the fish.
Oh, don't kill any fish.
Kill the
Everything
fish.
was on the table at that point. We didn't. We had to have a discussion. We had to rule those things out. I mean, because somebody's going to ask you.
That's a great choice. I'm glad you did it. Oh, God. In regards to the flood, I spoke with Bob Vitus earlier today. The commission was chatting with him, and just some concerns that residents have had, and they've expressed them with me. And I know that Bob explained to me, but I would like for it to be known so that the public can understand. We've implemented an app that most folks can use on their iPhones, Heads Up, and unfortunately we've had some problems with that, with programming issues and what have you. It's not that the local governments and the entities aren't trying to use it, but we've had some issues with it. We hope to get those cleared up, and whether it's a road closing on Route 30 because of the weather or an accident, or 911 center not being able to give an update on the flooding, some of these issues will soon be cleared up, and I just want the citizens to know that we're working on getting that corrected. Bob, do you want to elaborate any more?
I talked to the Sheriff's Department, Angelina Dickinson, she runs that. The app has been having a problem with iPhones. That fix from the vendor is supposed to be released next month. And toward that end, John Paul Tracy and I are going to do a better job of posting things like ice jams, because we have that ability, but haven't been able to do it. So when the app fix comes out, we will do more work toward posting what we can post. The Sheriff's Department has the ability to post things like accidents and everything, but on the back turns and everything, we're going to look at having possibly somebody from the 911 center post bad accidents if it causes a road closure or things like that, to try to make this more of a 24-hour application than what's currently out there.
This system hasn't been up that long for us, as you all know, and there's always going to be bugs. Okay, Angelina's been doing a real good job as far as getting out a lot of information, but some of the different entities, rather than post it themselves, have been going through our department to get it posted, and it's working. But again, it could be used more successfully for us and for the citizens. And as we get the bugs worked out of the system, as well as getting the people on board to be more comfortable with it, it'll become even more of a tool for our citizens. I'm pleased with it.
When you talk about getting folks on board to use it, are we talking about different departments within the county?
different departments within the county. Some departments, some agencies are using it more readily. Okay, other ones are just who don't use it that often. Whenever they comes time to, they're not used to it. It's still brand new. They haven't used it yet, so they need a little help, and a little direction in order to get it accomplished. And of course, my office is still open to be able to do that. provided Angelina's working that day and can help them out. But yes, we're very open to helping other agencies. But again, for instance, Weirton Water Department, their aging infrastructure, they utilize it more often than, say, some other water department that has one break a year or so. You see what I'm saying? So one is already adept at utilizing it, and other departments throughout our county have not used it yet. And when the first time comes up when they want to try it, they need to be walked through the procedure. Would that be fair, Mr. Vitus?
Yes, sir. Angelina's done a good job so far of managing the problems with the software company and everything else. Kudos to her.
To her.
Yes.
Thank you.
I really didn't have a whole lot today, but I did jot down 3 things: potholes, Freddie, and the budget. A lot of phone calls the last couple of weeks to the commission, and mostly, actually, I think all of them have been road related, whether they can't pick up garbage because of the ice, or now it's turned from that to potholes. And I explained to the people I talked to that, it's hard to patch when it's, 12 degrees out and, 20 degrees below zero in the morning. So as soon as we get a schedule on that, we'll get that out too if we hear anything. But until then, I think we just have to wait till the weather breaks before we can start working on and it's really not us, but we try to be a go-between whenever we get calls on that. We try to relate those citizens' concerns to the Department of Highways. I just wrote Freddie down, and it seemed like he was loved by a lot of people. And as I'm sitting here thinking, what could I say? I think we owe Freddie a service pin. You said how many years?
9 years.
9 years, and we have a box back there with service pins in it, and I'll make sure that
Tomorrow at our memorial service, that'd be nice for his handler to have.
he needs that 5-year service pin, so we'll do that. We'll get that to you, sure, or to Pat. The last one was budget. Probably the first time in my 10 years here that the budget is so dependent upon state legislation. There's a lot of issues out there, and budgets really aren't hard. Budget 101 is simply you see how much money you got coming in, and you balance that budget out, the balanced budget, with how much you can spend. We're driving Karen crazy on the revenue side, because we need to go to the penny here. So we're trying to get unencumbered balances, that and plus the legislative rulings, which seems to change daily. One day it looks this way, then the next day it looks another way. So this is going to be an interesting budget year, especially since, I'm not letting the cat out of the bag here, but this is going to be a declining revenue year for us. I don't think it's going to be an increased revenue stream. So a little more difficult to balance, but you have to play the cards that you are dealt. So we will do that. So the budget is due in 28th of March. So we've been having some meetings and trying to map that out on the best way to spend those revenue dollars. So we'll be doing that. If nothing else, the next meeting is scheduled for March the 19th at 3:30.
2:30.
What did I say? 2:30.
I was old age.
No, I was looking at you thinking afternoon turn, and that just popped out. So
Something else I'd like to ask.
Yes.
If you don't mind. Jonesy, not to put you on the spot, but could you elaborate, or do you know anything about the bridge down at the bottom of Hardin's Run? Could you talk about that if you know anything at all?
Yes, actually, a citizen who lives out Hardin's Run had stopped me about 10 days ago and said, hey, I think one of the snowplow guys hit one of the black stone on the bridge. So I went down to look at it. So I took some pictures. I sent them off to the Department of Highways. If you remember last summer, I think that guy hit that water mine subsidence thing, and all that water washed down the hill. and came onto that bridge. They take pictures of underneath those bridges, and that one, of course, is all brick lined, so you can see if one of them's missing or moved. And so when we sent the pictures down, they compared them to pictures that they had taken before, and the bricks had moved enough that they said, "Hey, we're going to come up and look at it." So they came up to look at it, and the next day they said they were going to close that lane down because once they looked at the bridge and saw that there was no other superstructure with that bridge other than the arch brick themselves. They said, no, we don't want it falling in, we don't want it getting any worse. And with the thaw coming up, they knew it was water saturated. So they closed that lane off. Short-term fix, they talk about running like an awl thread all the way through there and tightening up to keep that side up. Long-term, there's no timelines with these short-term fixes and long-term fixes. Long-term was they knew it's an arch bridge and there were some historical things go on there, and plus a bridge replacement anywhere in the state is a lot of money. But they are looking at it, and I think that bridge is going to move up on, they have a bridge term which is ASAP or something. There's some acronym, I can't remember what it stands for. But they were going to try to move it up so they could get this bridge on the list to be repaired. And like I say, that just happened in the last 4 or 5 days. And you can see where the arch, where the brick have split apart, and where the water's come through there. And of course, when it froze and expanded, then when it thawed out, all left was just a gap. There was no ice or nothing left in there. So that's the reason why it's closed, and there is no timeline that I'm aware of initially to get that going. I'm sure it's not going to be till after it thaws out. I mean, there's ice and everything in there. They won't work inside in the creek bed while there's ice and stuff in there.
It's been restricted to one lane. Do you know if there's a weight limit on it?
I do not. I was down there. I didn't even see a weight limit sign. So that I don't know. I can find out. I can find out.
And the other thing I wanted to mention today, guys, is that John Adkins from Chester, he passed away the other day, and John served on the Hancock County Park and Recreation Board for a long time. And I just want to say that he just recently left the board, but it's probably because of his health reasons. But he'll be sadly missed. He was a good man.
With nothing else, we call for an adjournment, and the next meeting, March the 19th at 2:30.